Okay, so our bell work today is really easy. So if you've been paying attention, this should be super simple. But on which continent do historians think that humans originated? Make sure you jot that down on your bell work. Today we're learning about cultural and social development in the Paleolithic world. So in person, we would chat, but just take a moment to think, how does the ability to communicate lead to cultural and social advancements? So when we say cultural and social, remember culture is like a system of beliefs or social norms, language and religion that a community shares. So how does the ability to communicate lead to cultural advancements? And then social advancements, again, are like, their ability to have a relationship and relationships among people within a community. Okay, so you should have jotted that answer down on your worksheet, and we're going to jump right into source 5. This is an excerpt from Viv Evans, and it's from an article written called How Old is Language? Genetic evidence for early modern humans points to our species being around 200,000 years old. Moreover, from around 50,000 years ago, the periodic referred to by archaeologists as the Upper Paleolithic, an unprecedented cultural explosion began to manifest itself in human communities, meaning we saw a change in culture in that age. This resulted in artwork, sophisticated jewelry, advances in stone tool technology, evidence of complete ritual systems and social structures, fishing and boat building, the manufacture of projectile javelins for hunting, and other trappings of a relatively sophisticated material culture. The conclusion was clear. Language must have emerged sometime after 200,000 years ago and prior to this cultural Big Bang some 50,000 years ago. So all of those examples are examples of cultural explosion, right? So for questions 1 and 2 in source 5, go ahead and pause the video, read these questions, and jot down the answers on your notes. All right, for source 6, we're looking at the Lascaux cave paintings, and these are about 15,000 years before the year 0, so about 17,000 years ago that we think they were created in France. For numbers 3 and 4 on your worksheet, use this image to answer those questions. All right, for source 7, this is from Khan Academy. It says Paleolithic literally means Old Stone Age, but the Paleolithic era more generally refers to a time in human history when foraging, hunting, and fishing were primary means of obtaining food. Humans had yet to experiment with domesticating animals and growing their own plants. Since hunter-gatherers could not rely on agricultural methods, that's farming, to produce food intentionally, their diets were dependent on the fluctuations of natural ecosystems. They had to worry about whether overfishing a lake would deplete a crucial food source or whether a drought would wither up important plants. In order to ensure enough food production for their communities, they worked to manipulate these systems in certain ways, such as rotational hunting and gathering. This was the case for much of human history. It wasn't until about 11,000 years ago that these hunter-gatherer systems began to transform. As humans began migrating and adapting to new environments, they began developing tools and methods that equipped them to make the best of their respective environmental constraints. For questions 5 and 6 on your worksheet, go ahead and pause the video now in order to read them and answer those questions. Let's check back in with our unit claim. The claim is that the main change for humans during the Paleolithic era was where they lived. That's what we've been looking at this entire unit. Based on the sources we've reviewed today, do you still feel like, or have you already changed your mind as of yesterday, do you feel like that is the main change for humans, where they live? Do you think that migration was the biggest change during the Paleolithic era? Take a moment to write that down. Please use complete sentences. Today is a bit like yesterday where we're short on notes. It's not a big lecture, and you're going to use the remainder of the class period to do a reading. I really enjoy this reading. I just like dogs, and it's about dogs. You will actually be submitting both the notes and the reading, so it'll be 3 images or 3 documents, just because the notes is 1 page and the reading is 2 pages, in the assignment for today.